All right, are we live? I think we're live. Awesome. Let me check the stream health. Everything's good. You guys. All right. Looks so you guys can hear me. Can you hear my computer? Yeah, that's good. All right. Awesome. So yeah, it's time for another live stream, guys. All right. So all of you in the States, happy Thanksgiving, or to anyone who celebrates Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, my friends. If any of you are celebrating the corporate holiday of Black Friday, of which I am participating, happy Black Friday. Speaking of participating in corporate holidays, I am having a Black Friday sale right now on my website. So I've actually got two things going on. First off, the first one is 20,000. I got 20,000 subscribers. I'm super excited. So thank you, everybody. And to celebrate 20,000 subscribers, I have a coupon code that you can see on here. It's 20K exclamation mark. You can use that to get anything off of my website for 20% off. So let's go to the website, see what I got. You can go to the bookshop. And yeah, I got the notes and slides. You can get 20% off that. You get 20% off my emotions and music book, my MIDI mockups, orchestration, all kinds of cool stuff. And this right here, the book that I used for my recent lecture on character themes. So all of that you can get for 20% off by using coupon code 20K. All right, and likewise, if you want to get 20% off of my class, you can use the coupon code Black Friday, capital B, capital F. You can use that on checkout for my emotions class. You can see here a bunch of information, blurry photo, that's me. And yeah, just kind of cool stuff. So you can go through here, you can look through it. If you don't know if the class is for you, you have 3 days. There is a sample class that you can enroll in by just click sample class here. You can enroll and it's got some decent stuff. You can basically have access to a couple of the first modules early. You can check out and see if the class is for you or not. And yeah, if it is, Black Friday, exclamation point. That is your coupon code for 20% off. It's the first and yeah, it's the very first sale I've ever done on my class for emotions and music. And depending on how it goes, we'll see. It might be the last. We'll see. Yeah, so I think that's that. That's all kind of housekeeping. Awesome. We got some people. Matt Lewis. Yo, congrats, my friend. Very well deserved. Thank you. I'm really geeking out. I don't know, 20,000. It's been a long time since I think I've been doing this channel for like 4 years. And 20,000 just seemed like it was so far away. And even on top of that, since that's happened, I've gotten like another 200 subscribers. So I'm now technically at like 20,200 subscribers, which is just crazy. I'm very grateful to all of you and to everyone who's shown their love for this channel. I really appreciate it, people. I really do love what I do. I love being able to share this channel, to be able to talk with you guys, and to just kind of share a bunch of the stuff I've done and the stuff that I've learned. So thank you. And yeah, so I'm excited. And before Aditya gets here, I think his new name is Tamashi on YouTube. Before Tamashi shows up and starts bringing it up, yes, I am going to do the voice reveal. All right, not on the stream. I'm not that confident. I'm not ready to sing in front of people live. But I am going to do a voice reveal. I am practicing guitar for the first time in a long time. And yeah, I've picked a song out. It's a song that I used to sing at weddings because I used to be a wedding singer. I still do weddings every once in a while, just not as frequently. And yeah, so I have a song. I'm going to record it. I have no idea when it will be out. It will be out soon, though, so thank you. And yes, so I'm sure Tamashi will be showing up momentarily and talking about that, but I thought I'd share it. And Jack, welcome, Jack, my friend. It's good to see you, both you and Matt. Big ups, yes, very big. I'm excited. I'm still riding the high of like 20,000. I really am. Gonna bless us with the grease lightning. No, nothing like that. No. Right now, the song I think. Well, should I say what song I'm gonna do? I don't know. I don't want to build up any expectations, so I'm not gonna share the song. It's nothing like that. It is. So I've got a couple different styles that I sing in, depending on what I'm doing. So I'm a tenor, and I've sung things by Andrea Bocelli. So for example, one popular song that I would sing for weddings would be The Prayer. Was a popular one. The song I used for my audition for Berkeley was Quizás. the Andrea Bocelli version. But this one that I'm doing was my backup. And it's a very different style. It's more of a pop kind of song, but we'll see. Enough on that. We're here for a music lesson, aren't we? And so I'm going to be honest with you people. I have no idea what we're going to learn today. I don't have a lesson plan prepped. I don't have anything. I did have one request. One person asked that I discuss counterpoint, and specifically writing counterpoint for syncopated melodies. And the cool thing is it's really not that different. So right here, all I've got here is just kind of a synth that I'm working on making. I've been practicing synth design a lot lately because I'm trying to get better at it. I've got my bass sound now. I just got to do a bunch of I want to add all the modulation stuff and everything now. But let's get a piano up instead. And let's just come up with some melody kind of stuff, shall we? As usual, if anyone has questions, if you have things about music, film composing, storytelling, anything, shoot them in the comments. I'd be happy to talk about them. Happy to answer your questions if I can. And yeah, if you've been to the live streams, you kind of know the structure at this point. These are just kind of a moment for us to just kind of hang out, discuss whatever comes to mind, and hopefully answer some questions while we're on the way. So let's start out with just a super simple melody, shall we? I'm going to show you how I like to build my melodies right off the bat. So let's do 2 notes. I'm just going to do 2 notes per measure. That's a decent kind of shape. Then we're going to come back down. So we've got 2 measures, 2 measures. I'm going to repeat the original. So I'm using period structure. I've got 2 notes. So 2 measures of one idea, 2 measures of a new idea. The next 2 measures repeat the original idea. And in fact, this time I think I'm going to come up to a new local peak. That's a large leap. And then I have the last 2 measures. I'm just going to come back down. Let's do B. All right, so we've got a very simple idea going on. So the whole reason why I just did 2 notes per measure is what I've done is I've gone through and I've created something called target tones. Now, 9 times out of 10, I will start with a chord progression first. All right, that's just the way I tend to write. I didn't want to come up with a chord progression first, though, so I just put in some target tones. And the idea is that each of these, if we look closely, can be used as just chordal tones. We could come up with a chord progression underneath this and then write a melody with it. The idea is that our target tones are the most important notes, all right? In fact, I should probably write this down for you guys. And we go some, let's see. Jack, so I watched Dune 2023 twice. I understand why you went and saw it so much. Yes! Oh, I love that movie. All right, so those of you who don't know, Dune is my top favorite movie. Or one of them. I've got a lot of movies that I really love. And it currently holds the record for the movie I've seen the most times in theater. I've seen it 5 times. It was, I believe, tied with Across the Spider-Verse, which is another movie I am obsessed with. And I'm obsessed with it because of the soundtracks. They're amazing. So yes, I'm glad you enjoyed it, Jack. Matt Lewis, has anyone picked up any Black Friday deals? Good question. Yeah, anybody find any good ones? Spitfire, Native Instruments, who's doing what? What are good deals that you guys think? Anyone throwing out free plugins? I know companies often do. I know Waves Audio. Waves Audio is giving away a free plugin. I can't remember which one it is, but yeah. So anyone's got good deals, throw them out below. I will throw mine out again. Check it out. Black Friday deal. First one I've ever done. 20% off my emotions and music class. All you got to use is coupon code Black Friday. Capital B, capital F, no spaces, and exclamation point at the end. Use it. 20% off my class. Let's see. Writing melodies. Back on topic. Target tones equal the most important notes. All right, so the target tones in a melody, these tend to be the longest notes. They tend to be the notes that are emphasized metrically, so on beats 1 and 3 in 4/4 time, which you see 1, 2, 3, so beats 1, beat 3. And most importantly, they tend to be the notes that you find in the underlying chord progression. Although we're not really worrying about that just yet. So once you've got your target tones, I like to start with just 2 per measure. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to just kind of add some rhythmic personality to this. Now, if you would like to go a little more in depth on this, I do have an entire playlist called Melody for Composers. I think it's maybe like a 10 video playlist that goes in depth on everything. How to make a strong motif, how to develop your motif, how to turn your motif into a phrase, how to turn phrases into full-length pieces of music. So all of this is, of course, just a very rapid thing. But step 1 I just put 2 notes per measure. So once I've gone through, I've done 2 notes per measure, and I've tried to make sure I have some kind of semblance of a pattern. Because, again, patterns are what makes things musical. I have my main idea, a new idea, a repetition of my main idea, just slightly different for variation, and then I find a way to end it, just coming back down. So this is period structure. The next thing I do is I need to add a little bit of a rhythmic identity to this. Let's just do... We'll do this for my rhythm, shall we? So we've got that. Let's go through. So it was my first 2 measures was my main idea. The next 2 was a new idea. The next 2 measures were repetition of the main idea. So let's do the same rhythm. And again, I'm not putting a lot of thought into this. This is literally just me making something up for an academic exercise. But once I've gone through, let's do that. Let's try that. So let's go. Let's go. All right, so now we've got rhythm, all right? We've got our first motif. We've got our response motif. We have a repetition of our first motif, just with a slight variation, the slight variation just being that last note. Then we have our cadence, where we just bring it to an end. All right, so now that we've got rhythm, we've got our target tones, the next thing is to just kind of embellish it with some, what they're called approach tones. All right, so anything that's not a target tone. The approach tones tend to be shorter. They tend to be from outside of the underlying harmony, if there's an underlying harmony that you've written. And most importantly, they tend to bridge together target tones. So, for example, let's focus on our first motif here. So, the easiest thing to say, shortest notes here, E. Let's do to G to A. Sorry, that was loud. Let's bring all of these down a bit, shall we? In velocity, so it's not quite so loud. Let's do A instead of going down. So now I've got my target tones, the original pitches that I had. And then underneath it, these other ones in the motif are approach tones not from the chord. So remember, target tones tend to be longer. They tend to be metrically emphasized. So measures beats 1 and beats 3 in 4/4 time. Those are the strong beats. In most rhythms, it goes strong, weak, strong, weak. That is a prevalent pattern underneath much of music that we listen to. So if you listen to 4/4 time, first beat is strong. Second beat is weak. Third beat is strong. Fourth beat is weak. So we've got E and A. C could technically be a chordal tone, but we've got G. So. And then let's see here. And then. And of course, I moved my first target tone. That's fine. You don't have to stick with the originals. I'm just following what sounds good. That does not sound good. So maybe I wasn't following what sounds good. Let's see, I'm getting a lot of comments here. Let's see here. Jack, my girlfriend was surprised when I said there was no bagpipe sounds anywhere in the music. That is true. So talking about Dune. So there's a lot of bagpipes that are featured in the soundtrack, and I say bagpipes, I should say, because it's actually an electric guitar. It's an electric guitar made up to sound like bagpipes in Dune, which is crazy because we see characters playing the bagpipes on screen, and that was actually important. Hans Zimmer is a master at storytelling with music. In fact, all of the great film composers are masters at storytelling. It's the job. But he's very much the kind of, his approach is very much living in the world of the story. So when he wrote the soundtrack for Dune, he was very vocal about wanting to do something different that wasn't Star Wars, that wasn't the romantic period kind of orchestration, because he always thought it was weird that, I mean, he's a fan of John Williams, but he said even as a kid he thought it was weird that in a galaxy far, far away, it sounded like romantic era music was being used throughout. So he wanted to create a completely different world. And he said that some things, since these are humans, are going to be something, they're going to be kind of constant. And bagpipes, funnily enough, if you didn't know this, bagpipes are one of the few instruments such as drums, singing, and some kind of string instrument that seem to be universal across almost every culture. Because all you needed to make bagpipes was the bladder of some kind of animal, typically goats, and reeds. And if you had those, which almost every culture did, you could create bagpipes. So he said bagpipes are found almost every culture everywhere. And if these are humans, even if they're in a galaxy far, far away, chances are they're going to find some way to make bagpipes again. So bagpipes were his weird kind of like connection. But because of COVID and everything, they were kind of limited with what they could do. So he just found a way to make electric guitars sound like a bunch of bagpipes. So that is really cool. Let's see, Jack at Matt Lewis. I'm desperately trying to not, but Albion from Spire. Oh, Albion's on sale. That's nice. Okay, so all right, so awesome. You guys are just kind of sharing some Black Friday deals. Awesome, excellent. So I think I'm caught up on the comments as usual. If you got questions, throw them below, and let's just continue with coming up with my miserable little melodic idea. All right, so then we've got first motif, new idea. We need to repeat our motif. So let's go back to G with slight variations. Let's listen to it now. What note do I want? All right, so awesome. We've got a nice little melody. In fact, let's just get rid of this little idea. Let's just go super simple cadence idea. All right, so now let's harmonize this, shall we? So with harmonizing, you want to take a look at the target tones. So A, C, and E, these all fall for A minor. Let's do this. I hope this isn't super loud. Is Cubase super loud for you people? Let me know. But once we've got our first idea, let's find our first chord. Let's find our cadence next. So let's go D, B. So that sounds like a G. So if we're in the key of A minor, it looks like this could be a G diminished, or G major, I mean. Sorry, I don't know why I said diminished. All good. All right, awesome. So I'm glad it's not too loud. It's super loud in my headphones. So I'm just going to turn down my headphones a little bit. There we go. So we've got G major, and then we've got C and G. So I feel like I was writing this for the key of C major. So let's just change this. So let's do A minor. So we'll just do... This is one of the downsides, the dangers of just writing a melody last minute, is not knowing what key you're in. And that's stuff I should pay attention to. So we've got our chords, we've got our cadences, a nice half cadence, or diminished, I cannot talk today. It's not a half cadence, it is a deceptive cadence. When the G dominant 7, instead of going to C major, goes to A minor. It works, it's basically the idea is anytime a dominant chord goes to a tonic functioning chord, that's not the tonic. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I've talked about this so many times on the channel, but no worries, you might be new. If you don't know what I'm talking about in terms of like tonic, subdominant, dominant families and functional harmony and all that, check out my playlist, Harmony for Composers. In fact, you know what? Because I have a lot of caffeine in my system right now, because I had an energy drink before doing this stream, because I made the mistake of eating turkey for lunch after Thanksgiving, and almost falling asleep. So I needed some energy, and now I have too much. Let's just look through my playlist, shall we? I've got a bunch of playlists here. I've got emotion and style templates. This is a fun one. A lot of cool videos on just kind of different templates you can use to create different emotions. The Sitting at the Table podcast. I've got most of our episodes on here. This is basically a friend of mine, my roommate, who is a therapist. He is a trained musician turned therapist. I am a trained therapist turned professional musician. So we have interesting kind of takes on how emotions can be approached in film music, and so we've started a podcast. I enjoy it. You can find it here, or you can find it all over, anywhere you can listen to it. This is the class I did with the Indie Film Music Competition. Some original music, some better than others. This one's private. This was a project I did where it's just a bunch of videos from my channel that I collected, but that's for another. I've got a bigger project coming up that's very similar that I'll share. What are we doing here? Oh, yeah, advanced orchestration techniques, quick theory videos. We're looking for my harmony video. I've done a bunch of... Wow, I've got a lot of videos. Right here. Harmony for Composers. Yeah, it's a cool little like music theory class where you can take, what is this, like 10 videos? And the first one, Functional Harmony, explains all of that. What am I doing? My Ghibli music analysis. Naruti, don't know what that is. Must be old. Orchestration 101. Where is my... Melody for Composers. Oh, it's only 6 episodes. But yeah, so this one goes down to melodies. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going off the deep end at the moment. Awesome. So, I didn't have everybody leave the stream, so that's good. Let's see here. Anyway, we were harmonizing a melody, weren't we? So once I've gone through and I've taken my melody, I figured out the first chord, and I figured out my cadence, the next step is to just harmonize the rest of the chord progression using the same process, but trying to pay attention to forming some kind of pattern. So G and C in the second chord. These are 2 notes, a perfect fifth apart, and naturally that would be C major would work. So then I could do A minor, C major. We could do that. We could also do like a C minor 7. We'll play around. Let's just try a simple C major first, shall we? That works. Let's bring that velocity down. Alright, so now I've got this pattern. If I want to keep this pattern, this isn't a very functional harmony kind of pattern. What I've just done is I've taken 2 tonic functioning chords. Basically 2 strong chords. I've gone strong chord, strong chord. In functional harmony, that would be a big no-no. That'd be a big, like, don't do that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to, instead of doing functional, I'm going to do tertian. So A minor, up a third is C major. Up another third is E minor. And since E minor has both B and G, we can do that. Is any of this helpful? Let me know in the comments, guys. Let me know. I feel like I'm repeating myself from other streams. I feel like... Ooh, sorry, that was loud. Alright, this is a chaotic stream today. Yeah. Is this useful stuff? Am I going too fast? Am I going not fast enough? Um, Jack, C minor 7 feels so money. It does, doesn't it? I love 7th chords. I love that sound. I love 7th chords. I love extended chords. And for the longest time, that's what I defaulted to. I still do in many cases, depending on the project. But if I'm doing something quick and academic, I'll just stick to triads. Ed, welcome, Ed. I don't think you were. You've been on a stream yet. So welcome. I don't recognize your name at least. The Ghibli chords video were my intro to the channel. Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, welcome to the channel. That video was the intro to a lot of people. Widely, like by a massive margin, my Ghibli chords video has way more views than any other video on this channel. And it continues to get views every day, which is a bittersweet. I love it. So I hate it and I love it for 2 reasons. I love it because so many people find my channel through it, which is awesome. I hate it because it was the very first video I ever made and ever uploaded to this channel. And I made it when I was just starting to study music theory and composition. And so there's a lot of mistakes in the video. But it's all right. So I enjoy it. And yeah, I don't know what else I'm going to say about that. But welcome. Yes, I'm glad. The Ghibli, I am very proud of the Ghibli videos. The Ghibli chord videos was fun. And I love the playlist I did. That was so much fun to kind of dissect the music and come up with a template to work with. But anywho, I'm getting distracted again. So welcome, Ed. Welcome, my friend. Let's do A minor, E minor, and so now we've got A minor, C major, E minor. Now we've got D and E. This is a tricky one. A minor, C major, E minor. We could do D major, kind of break it a little bit. Let's bring this down a bit. And the idea is like I've broken my pattern here because I'm using this as a bit of a cadence. So D major to A minor is what's known as a Dorian cadence. All right, the D major does not naturally appear in the key of A minor, which is A minor. That's the A natural minor scale. Even if you use the A harmonic minor, having that G sharp, that is where you get kind of the more traditional minor cadence. I don't know. I'm feeling a little weird today because I'm used to spending a lot of time diving deeply into every kind of music theory concept I cover. And so far we've covered melodies, we've covered harmony, I've discussed cadences, I've discussed functional harmony, and I feel weird only touching on the surfaces of so many topics. My teaching style is much more like dive deeply into every little thing I bring up. So I'm sorry if I'm speeding up, but again, if you want to learn more, check out my playlist. I have so many videos. I got like 250 videos on this channel. I cover almost everything that you can imagine. And I've got a free online school that I'm getting ready to unveil soon. I mentioned that once in a stream before. But before Christmas, one of my goals, since I personally have had such a horrific experience with music education, mostly not being able to afford it, and not being able to finish any degrees or anything. So one of my big goals is to create a free music school. And the first step I'm taking to that is creating 4 free classes. 1 on music theory for harmony, 1 on music theory for melody writing, and then 2 on orchestration. And those 4 classes are going to be unveiled soon. They're very simple. They're made mostly from videos on my YouTube channel, plus extra notes, plus extra assignments and stuff like that. And it's all going to be hosted through my website. I've got plans for expanding and making it bigger, but those 4 classes are going to be a big first step for me, and I'll be announcing that within a couple weeks, so keep an eye out for that. But anywho, all of this to say, when you're rating a chord progression, the key is pattern, pattern, pattern. It doesn't matter what your pattern is, you just need to form a pattern. And the only time you can break your pattern and have it work is to form a cadence of some sort. And since D major to A minor is a Dorian cadence, I can do just that. and then post that, and then we'll find that. So it's a G and E. So we can do E minor. Then we have G major and A minor. So we've got our chord progression. And I haven't really done any voice leading, so we should probably do some of that. Actually, it's not looking that bad. Just bring these down. Let's bring this up, actually. Questions? Alright, so it's a very weak ending. It feels like the music should not end there. So that would make this a question phrase. Again, something that I'm kind of going all over the place here. But again, my melody writing for composers playlist talks in great detail about question and answer phrases. But the main idea is just that a question phrase feels like, yeah, it ended the phrase, but your music should keep going. An answer phrase sounds like, yep, that's good. That's a good place to stop. So we've got a decent melody. Next, after I answer a couple questions, we'll go through here and we will make this more syncopated, and then we will finally write a contrapuntal response based off that question someone asked. Let's see here. Matt, ever use octatonic scale? Yes, not in years though. If memory serves, the octatonic scale is a scale built off a specific pattern of major second, minor second. So you have a note, you move up a major second, then you move up a half step. Then you go up a major second. Then you go up a half step. Major second. Half step. Major second. And then half step. And basically it's just that alternating thing. Whether you start with a minor second or major second doesn't matter. You just build your scale by moving up major second, half minor second, major second, minor second. You just follow that pattern. It makes for a very weird kind of crunchy chord with all chords. And as Matt mentions, it's got 4 diminished chords. So I haven't used it in years. The only time I ever really used it was specifically for a homework assignment where I was told to write something in the octatonic scale. I think I wrote a cello solo for it. It was very early. It was like within months of me deciding I wanted to be a composer. So I've actually got a mug. My mom is very supportive. And so one year for Christmas, she took the octatonic solo that I'd written. She got it like put on a mug for Christmas. And so I really like that. I have that for like, it's one of my older pieces. It's not the best piece I wrote, but it's just sentimental, right? All right. So yeah, it is a very fun scale. So let's kind of like build one real quick, shall we? Let's see here. So we would go any note, major second, half step, major second, half step, major second, half step, major second, half step. So you can see how this would be a really weird scale, especially if we take that, copy and paste it, D sharp, F, yep, and I think that's good. And then we would take it, we do F again, and then you can see how we've got really weird chords that would come from this. I think it would be, have to move that up. I don't know. It would be A. Yeah, anyways, you get some really weird chords from it. I'm not going to mess around too much. It's a fun scale, though. Let's see. Or half step, whole step. Yep, exactly. Or half step, whole step. You can swap the order. But nah, it's a really fun scale. There are a lot of really cool scales out there. There's so many that I haven't even talked about. So there are different variations of the modes. For example, all the modes that we're used to. For example, like Dorian that I talked about with that sound. Or sometimes if you want to do, for example, Lydian, which is the sharp 4. These are all different. And if you don't know what I'm talking about with modes, again, check out I've got so many videos on the modes. Check out Quick Theory. For my Quick Theory playlist, I've got a video on modal cadences that can help. And my Harmony for Composers playlist, again, has a whole video dedicated to the modes. But they're basically, you can find the different modes by changing one note of a minor scale or one note of a major scale. And they can all be described as being just a major scale starting on a different note. For example, C major. If we take all of those notes, and instead of starting on C, we start on D, we get D Dorian, I believe. No, that wouldn't be D Dorian, would it? Be. Oh yeah, that would be D Dorian. I don't know. I'm sorry, people. I am so full of like Thanksgiving leftovers of pie and turkey and all kinds of stuff. And this year I made frijoles and tortillas because my family always has kind of like a mixed affair. So I've got all kinds of carbs in my system right now, and my brain is all fuzzy. So I'm going to be messing up a little bit here and there. I apologize for that if that happens. But yeah, so that would be D Dorian. And then if you keep going, so like E Phrygian. It's the same notes as C major, just starting on a different note. And so if you think about the typical modes, the 8 Gothic, or the 8 Greek modes as they're called, those are all based off the C major scale. So what happens if you take something like A harmonic minor, and then you create modes off of that scale? Starting on A harmonic minor, and you do, for example, that's the A harmonic minor. So what if we start A harmonic minor on B instead? Oops, I went all the way down to A again because out of habit. But yeah, so if you take A harmonic minor and do it on B, you have a different scale. If you start on C, you have a different scale. So modes can be basically any kind of scale you can imagine, and just start it on a different note. There are so many options out there, so you can probably understand why I haven't been able to do videos off every single one of them. But yeah, there's a lot to explore out there is basically the rule. Chris Hansen, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixed Lydian, Aeolian, Superlocrian. Exactly. That is, so the way I remember it is I had a music professor once who said to remember the phrase, "I don't particularly like modes anyway, lady." That's the way you remember that it was Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, I don't particularly like Lydian, Mixolydian, Aeolian, Locrian. Yes, I don't particularly like modes anyway. Yeah, so yeah, it's 7. Yeah. So yeah, that's how I remember it. Let's see here. Thank you, Chris. All right, awesome. So here we go. I'm going to push forward in my sleepy kind of, it's a weird mix for me right now. I'm sleepy because of all the turkey I ate, and I'm also got like a lot of energy because of the energy drink I took before this stream. So it's a weird combination. But what we were going to do next, we're going to turn this little melodic idea we have into a syncopated melody. So syncopation, all syncopation means is that you have notes playing on beats that you would not expect them to play. So specifically, the easiest way to make any melody syncopated is to look at beats 1 and 3. These are the strong beats that you would expect to be emphasized in 4/4 time. And so all you gotta do to make it syncopated is play it slightly before or slightly after. See here. Let's just do it the same thing again. We'll hold that over. We'll start late again. So it's not super syncopated. It's a little syncopated. Probably should have written it with syncopation in mind in the first place. But it works. If we wanted to, we could try exploring with a couple of anticipations. In fact, what we're going to do is we'll glue those together. I don't like that. little bit, emphasize the offbeat. So yeah, got a little bit of syncopation going. That's awesome. So now let's finally write a contrapuntal melody for this. But first questions. Ed, there's a video by Oliver Pren at New Jazz where he systematically breaks down a whole series of modes and scales. That's cool. There are so many great videos out there. Yeah, that's a good question. Actually, yeah, everybody, what are your favorite videos that you found on music theory? Because I'm always trying to learn as well. So I'm gonna write that down actually. Oliver Pren. Where's my notes? I always have something to write with. All right, so Oliver Pren. You know what? To make it faster, I'm just going to write a sticky note. Oh, this is my sticky note for my descriptions of my YouTube channels. So I'm gonna write this down for myself. Oliver Pren. New Jazz. I'm going to put in parentheses what the topic is. And you said it is... Oh. I did not want you to open. Why are all of my apps suddenly opening? Did I click something by accident? I did not want Finale to open. All right. Oh, the joys of live streaming, right? All right, let's see here. There we go. All right, closed everything. As long as the stream doesn't close by accident. Let's see, Oliver Pren, you say modes and scales. So thank you, Ed. I'm excited to check that out. Anyone else? What other videos do you guys know about that you would recommend for others? But all right, here we go. So the first thing you want to do in counterpoint. Counterpoint is super simple. All right, it does not need to be difficult. I should clarify. Traditional counterpoint is incredibly intricate, incredibly difficult, incredibly challenging, and filled with so many rules that it can be almost impossible to teach yourself. It is an art form unto itself. However, if you are not trying to learn counterpoint for the specific purpose of writing counterpoint, and all you want to do is write two melodies that can be layered at the same time, it's not hard. You have one rule, all right? One rule you need to follow, that anytime two notes in your melodies articulate at the same time, they must form a consonant interval. All right, so what do I mean by articulate? So look at this C and G. All right, they're playing at the same time. You can see that they both have some time at the same time. So that's cool. It's fine. It doesn't become an issue until they articulate. They start at the exact same point. Because when they start at the exact same point, you want it to be nice and consonant. Now, if they were not, if, for example, you had D and E, even that can be kind of pleasant depending on who you are and what kind of context it is for the music. But you would want to make sure that if these two notes are playing at the same exact time, they would need to form a consonant interval with each other. So basically that means it has to be a third, a sixth, a perfect fifth, an octave, or, depending on who you ask, a perfect fourth. All right, so one of those intervals they should always form if they're going to articulate at the same time. So if you have that one rule in place, counterpoint is easy. All we're going to do is we're going to mute our chord progression, drop it in octave, and I am going to go through and just form another target tone melody shape using notes from my melody, from my chord. So let's do C, E, and then the chord under here is C major. So let's do E again, C. So we've got our basic idea. Let's listen to it. And then we've got E minor. Let's go up. Down here we have F sharp. All I'm doing is I'm creating a basic melody. Ooh, see? There we go. I wasn't paying attention. E and F sharp. If we collapse this, they form a major second. That is not a consonant interval. That is a dissonant interval. And that's why I sounded crunchy. That's why I sounded awful. So I need to change this. I have two choices, D, F, and A. And of those, A is the only one that forms a consonant interval with E. It forms a perfect fifth. So let's move this A up here. Actually, let's just do, so D and F, let's just do two A's, shall we? And then we're going to repeat our first idea because, again, this is period structure. And then we are going to find a way to end it. So G major to A minor. Let's jump up a little bit, shall we? So we've got our basic target tones. Let's listen to this again to make sure it all works. All right, so we've got this, and it forms a perfect fourth. E and A like this form a perfect fourth, which again, some people think it sounds crunchy, some people think it sounds consonant. It's up to you. But now that we've got our melody and we've got our basic, very, very basic contrapuntal melody, which again is just target tones at the moment, we're going to treat it just like we did the previous melody. We're going to add some rhythm, and then we're going to embellish it a little bit, while keeping in mind that if I do add more rhythm, any time that that two notes get articulated at the same time, they must form a consonant interval, right? All right, so here, Jack, not necessarily a music theory video, but watching Alex Mukula set up his FL Studio template has been an absolute lifesaver. I love Alex Mukula. All right, to this day, one of the biggest compliments I have ever had from anyone was someone sent me a message on Instagram, and they told me that they had found my channel because they were a patron of Alex Mukula, and it turns out on the patron page for him, they were talking about my channel, which I thought was so cool, because Alex Mukula was one of the very first channels I discovered when trying to learn more about music composition. And he doesn't do too many tutorials anymore. He mostly just does his own kind of music, which is great. That's awesome. Good for him. He's made a very comfortable living for himself doing trailer music. But he's one of the first YouTube channels I found and that I learned a lot from. And so that was really cool just finding out that they were talking about me on that channel. But yes, so Alex Mukula, check out his stuff if you haven't already, people. Amazing, amazing tutorials. Anyway, where was I? Ads will run. No, I don't want ads to run in the middle of my stream. YouTube's been doing that lately. They keep sending me notifications in streams going, hey, we're going to run an ad in the middle of your stream. No, thank you. Please, stop it. Run ads for people after I'm done streaming. All right, that's how I make money, but not when I'm streaming. I don't like to be interrupted. Anywho, I interrupt myself enough. We've got the basic melody. So the next step, as I said, we need to add some rhythm to this. Now, the question I got about writing counterpoint for syncopated melodies. I'm going to say this once. For our intents and purposes, it's not any different. All right? You can start the same way that I have done, all right? It doesn't matter that the first voice is syncopated. Just start what you would with any regular melody. Follow that one rule that any time two notes articulate at the same time, they should form a consonant interval with each other, all right? If it's syncopated, that's fine. Doesn't matter. Just keep doing it. Follow the same rules. Now, if you wanted to do species counterpoint, if you wanted to do actual, like, academic concert music counterpoint where you show off how clever you are, there are more rules. What are they? I don't know. I studied counterpoint, but I kind of forgot a bunch of it because all I was interested in was learning how to write melodies that were layered on top of each other. And so that's what I do. That's what I'm good at. So let's see here. Let's add some rhythm to this, shall we? Let's mute this top melody, shall we? We're going to focus on trying to turn this bottom one into a melody. So we've got rhythm for the first one. Let's add rhythm for our second motif. And then we are going to, again, mute this top melody. And we're going to, since this is period structure, repeat our initial motif. And then we're going to mute the top one. Let's listen to our rhythmic target tones. All right, so now let's go through one at a time, and we're going to add some additional pitch. To let's do it again. And then we're going to repeat our idea. Let's listen to this now. And then we're going to go through and we're going to like proofread it. All right, so now let's see. We're going to go through and we're going to look at each of the notes in the top melody versus the one in the lower melody. And we're going to make sure anytime two notes are articulated at the same point, they form a consonant interval. Now, here we see E and D. They do not form a consonant interval. E and D, super crunchy. But they're not articulated at the same time, so it's not an issue. A and E, that's consonant. For example, so I should actually demonstrate that. So E and D, super dissonant. However, play them separately, suddenly it's not nearly as crunchy. So A and E, that's fine. No. Yep, that's fine. Although I don't care much that it's the same note octaves apart, but that's fine. I'm not trying to do perfect counterpoint here. Just doing something that functions. A and E, again, that's a perfect fourth, which depending on who you ask could be crunchy, could be not crunchy. It's all about your personal preferences and the context surrounding it. D and A. G, A, and E, that's fine. So another question that you can ask yourself is if you want to know whether two notes are consonant or not, you can ask yourself, do these two notes belong to a major or minor triad together? If they do, yes, they're consonant. So for example, A and E, those can both be found in A minor. So yes, they're consonant. E and D, no, those two do not belong in a major or minor triad together. So they are not. Going through here, E and C, they can be found in C major. They can be found in A minor. So yes, they are consonant. G and D, G major, yes, they're consonant. D and B, yeah, G major again. C and E, yes, C major, A and E. So yeah, we've got two melodies that should, unless I've missed something, work well together. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this melody, we're going to move it over here, and then we're going to play it again, but layer the other melody on top. So we're going to listen to both of our melodies. I'm going to unmute this, and we're going to listen to both of our melodies, play one at a time, and then together. And as long as I didn't make any major mistakes, they should sound perfectly fine layered on top of each other. only thing that I thought was a little crunchy was that last interval. Ending on a perfect fourth is a little crunchy. It's fine though. Remember, the golden rule of music is, does it sound good? All right, if you think it sounds good, awesome, you're done. That's perfectly fine. And as far as just a last minute, quick, spur of the moment kind of contrapuntal idea works, I think that's fine. If I had more time, I'd spend a lot of time kind of nitpicking and making all the differences I wanted. Because typically, the way I use counterpoint is I will write my initial theme, I will write my secondary theme, like I did for this, and then I'll layer them on top of each other. So, for example, let's pull up another piece that I did for an actual soundtrack, shall we? Let's see here. Where is... Let's do the Game Maker's theme. Where is that? That's going to be under here. Alright. The ultimate escape room experience. Game Maker's theme from the bridge. So what you're going to find in here is we're not going to listen to the whole thing, but we're going to go to the end, and you're going to see that I have multiple things. I have a piano melody going on. I have a tenor trombone melody going on. And yeah, I think those are the big ones. So throughout here, I had a piano melody that I would play. I had like a main trumpet theme play. Then I had a piano melody play. Then I had the main trumpet melody come back. Then I had a trombone melody play. Then I had the main theme come back one more time before the very last time the piano and the trombone layered on top of each other. And that's essentially how I use counterpoint. Sometimes I will use it for different character themes. That was another thing I did for the soundtrack, where I wrote the character themes contrapuntally, so that the main hero's theme and the villain's theme both could play layered on top of each other. And throughout the play, I had the hero's theme play here and there. That was fun. That was great. Everybody got to know what the theme was. And the villain's theme would come here and there, and everybody got to know what the villain's theme was, even if they weren't paying attention. And it wasn't until the very end that, boom, both of them play at the same time. Right? And that's a very common strategy found in a lot of soundtracks. Howard Shore, in particular, is very famous for it. Most of his themes throughout Lord of the Rings could be layered on top of each other. In fact, not even the character themes, but the themes for different worlds. He has got so meticulous with it that several of his themes could be reduced and turned into ostinati, or accompanimental figures, to layer in the background subtly. Lin-Manuel Miranda is another famous example of a composer who does a lot of contrapuntal melodies. One of his more popular ones recently was We Don't Talk About Bruno, where every character comes in, they sing a line, they sing a verse, and it sounds like a perfectly good verse. It sounds right at home, and then boom, it's not until the end where everyone is singing their part at the same time, and you're like, whoa, it all fits. It's all great. It's wonderful. It's beautiful. It's incredible. Wow. And if you want a more in-depth view at Counterpoint, check out Counterpoint Made Simple. Just look up Tabletop Composer Counterpoint, and you're gonna find it's a 30-minute video. Will cover everything we did today in much more detail, so that again, it's made simple. You can go through and find it. In fact, let's see here again. If you go to my blog, I have a blog post about it around here somewhere. Where is it? Right here. Counterpoint. 588 views. That's cool. That's good for a blog post, for me at least. And then, yeah, you got my YouTube link there. You can go through here, and it's basically a breakdown of everything I talked about today. Yeah. So, that's an hour, guys. We've been doing this for a while. Hopefully that was helpful. Hopefully I answered the question of whoever asked me that. I've got a couple more minutes I can stay on here, people. I'm gonna do a couple more announcements, just kind of repeats of stuff from earlier. And while I'm doing announcements, throw your questions in the comments. All right, if you've got questions about music, speak now or forever hold your peace, or at least wait until the next live stream when I can answer them there. But what am I going to talk about? Oh yeah, Black Friday sale! Yay! Couple things going on. First, it's kind of cool. In fact, if you go down here, let's go to just my community page, shall we? Live lesson. Thank you for 20,000 subscribers. Wonderful. Thank you, people. I'm actually surprised Tamashi didn't make an appearance on here. Tamashi is a regular on the streams who's been reminding me that like a year ago or something in a live stream, I mentioned in passing that I would do a voice reveal for 20,000. So yes, that will be coming. That will be coming in a couple of weeks. I'll be recording myself singing something so you guys can hear what my singing voice sounds like, which is significantly, at least I like to think, is much less nasally than my usual singing voice. But you can use coupon code 20K. 20, capital K, exclamation point, to get 20% off anything in my bookshop in my website. That includes my book on emotions and music, my book on character themes and world themes and stuff like that. All my notes, everything on there. And then as well for today, in fact, this weekend only, this is a 3-day coupon, all right? Use coupon code Black Friday, exclamation point, to get 20% off my class. I have a 6-week class where we go into everything you could possibly need to know to portray any emotion with music. This is the culmination of my education. I have a master's degree in social work. I trained to be a therapist for 6 years. My undergrad and my master's degree were all meant for me to be a therapist. And then it wasn't until like grad school that I realized, I don't want to do this. And so now music therapy, so my understanding of therapy and emotions and therapy and psychometric tools and therapy modalities and all that combined has helped give me a very unique perspective and understanding of how music actually portrays music and why we as humans associate emotions with certain sounds of music. So this is a 6-week class. You can check out my website here to learn more about what the class is, frequently asked questions. And if you want to have a free sample, you can sign up for a sample class here and just go through a couple of the modules, 15 modules, I think. Then if you decide that you do like it, check out, use again, coupon code Black Friday, capital B, capital F, no spaces, exclamation point. It's right here on my YouTube post and on Instagram. 20% off. This is the first time I have ever offered a sale on the class. All right, so check it out. It's only 3 days long, so use it by Sunday or forever hold your peace. New cohort for the class starts December 4th, and I believe that is all of my announcements. I'm not going to exit out of that just in case I need to pull it back up again. Let's see what questions you guys got. Jack says, as long as you don't have 2 octaves, 2 fifths, or 2 fourths next to each other, you're not going to get your knuckles smacked too much. Yes, very much. And that's, again, follow the rules of sound is king. Do you like the way it sounds? Go for it. If you are trying to please your music theory professor, then yeah, there are more rules to pay attention to. But composers in history have very rarely cared about pleasing their music therapy teachers. Or not music therapy, music theory teachers. Claude Debussy, in particular, a very famous composer, is famous for running his teachers ragged and ignoring everything. He did not get good grades in school, but he has had a singularly massive impact on the direction music has gone in. Sweet P, how does one begin in regards to scoring films? So there's a lot of ways I could take this. I'm not quite sure what you're asking. Are you talking about learning how to score films? Are you asking how to find work scoring films? If you are looking for finding work, I can send you in 2 directions for people who specifically talk about this. The first one is a very popular composer and YouTuber and influencer, Zach Heidi, has a new class all about finding work for composers. He's a great guy. I've talked with him on multiple occasions. He's really cool. I'd recommend checking him out. He does a lot of free stuff as well. So follow him. And then Cheska Yo is another person that I would recommend. She does a lot of posts about finding work. I've done some things with her. She's really cool. Check her out. Those are resources that can go a lot more in depth than I can in just this one stream. That will be very good resources for how to find work. If you are looking for more about how to learn, like learning how to compose music and having the skill and craft, I would recommend checking out my playlists, Melody for Composers, Harmony for Composers, and then my 2 playlists on orchestration. All right, your first and foremost responsibility should be just getting your chops built. Right, can you actually compose music? Then after that, I have a bunch of other resources I would just recommend checking out on my YouTube page. I did a class on scoring films with the Indie Film Music Contest this year, and you can find that in my playlist as well. So that would be a really good resource for getting started, as well as kind of showing you a workflow, a bunch of stuff like how do you sync to tempo and stuff. I talk about a lot of stuff on there, so hopefully that answers your question. So yeah, if you want to learn about finding jobs, check out those 2 resources I pointed out, because I don't have a lot of time to talk about it in just a stream. But the running idea is you need to build contacts. You need to build relationships with people who make films. So they both do great jobs talking about it. And then if you're talking about how to learn film composing itself, check out my website, check out my YouTube channels. If you're looking to spend a bit of money, check out my ebooks. I've got great tools on my website, and check out my class. Because if you are looking to learn how to portray emotions with music, I have a lot of free stuff that I've done on YouTube, on blog posts, all kinds of free stuff out there. But if you want the most in-depth and comprehensive class, check out my class. All right, I'm confident no one else is teaching the stuff I'm teaching. Because, well, there are people who are teaching it, but they're teaching it to therapists, not musicians. So check it out. Good resource, I promise. I have had several composer buddies that I've had. In fact, Cheska being one of them. Cheska, one of the resources I just pointed out. She's talked with me about my models and the ways I've done it. She said that it helped her get multiple pieces approved for her most recent soundtrack, where she had to go back and rewrite some pieces, and she wasn't sure what to do, but she used the stuff she'd learned from me, and it helped her come up with some ideas. So that was really cool to hear. So yeah, check it out. That's the last time. I promise I'm not going to keep plugging my own stuff. That's a lie. I'm probably going to at least once more before we end. But yeah, check it out, all right? I've spent a lot of effort on this stuff. That's what I would recommend. Ed, my pleasure. Glad to help. Mateo, hi. What is the best way to learn to improvise chords? I mean, while playing the piano. The best way to do it, I'm not a musician, so I'm speaking from a composer. The best way to do it is to just learn a pattern or two you like. So, for example, I have a video that has been doing very well. And if you haven't seen it already, I recommend checking. Where is it? This one. Mastering the Art of Composition, the greatest lesson I can teach. It is a very kind of clickbaity title, but it is a good one. And in this one, I talk about how patterns are the blood and bone of music. All right, and so if you have something like period structure, like we learned in this one, you can say, all right, all I need is to create 2 chords. I like that. All right, period structure, say start with 2 chords. Then find 2 more chords that you like. Then it would say, repeat the first 2. And then it would say, end with a cadence. That's all you gotta do. 2 chords at a time. That was just a cool chord progression. So find your patterns and practice them. All right, sentence structure and period structure are 2 highly underrated patterns. All right, so the period structure says 2 chords, 2 new chords. Repeat the original 2 chords and then end with a cadence. Sentence structure is the same thing, just in a different order. Come up with 2 chords. Then repeat those 2 chords with a little variation, like an inversion. Then create something new. Then end with a cadence. 2 chords at a time. That's all I gotta do. What was that? It was like A minor, D major, A minor, first inversion, then D major, then F major, C major, then E major, A minor. So find your patterns and practice them. All right, that would be my greatest advice. So those 2 patterns, sentence structure, period structure. If you want to learn more, like I said, check out that video. Check out my playlist on harmony for composers. But just find patterns and start experimenting with them. Another very common one is a common tone pattern. In fact, actually, this is a new blog post that I did recently. And that's why I didn't think about it first. Go to blog. Are chords and emotions related? That's a new one. That's a cool one. But chords and progressions exercises. This is a nice little article I have that details several common patterns and even has kind of how to practice. Make a list of 2 or 3 more. So this is specifically something that I think would be very helpful for you. It talks about some of the most common chord progression patterns out there, some of the most useful ones. It talks about how they're commonly used and some tips on how to practice them. So I would recommend that. That's cool. I had forgotten about this blog post. It was a quick one that I wrote recently. But yeah, hopefully that helps. Mateo, I really appreciate your work. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Oh, you did see it. Perfect. All right. So if you saw the video, like I said, just find a pattern or 2 that you really like that works well for you. Practice it. Practice. That's really all there is to it. Figgity Punk. Pants. Missed the stream. Congrats on the big 20K. Thank you very much. And no worries. I'm going to be streaming a lot more in the future. Probably around this time each time. But wow, we've got a lot of people on here. There are 23 people on here. It's been a while since I've had a stream that wide, that large. But thank you. Figgity Funk, curious of your thoughts. Oh, quick question if you have time. Where do you think music education and content on YouTube is lacking? This is actually, I think the big, so music education content on YouTube, where it's lacking, I think it's lacking structure. All right, so I'm guilty of this as well. If we go to my YouTube channel and we look at my content, you will see that the earliest content I put out here was designed to be like a class. One video a week, and they each built on the previous ones. Part 1, Part 3, Part 4, Part 5, Part 6, Part 7, Part 8. It was designed like a class. This playlist was designed as a class on harmony. In fact, when I have that, like I said, I mentioned earlier in the stream, I've got a free music school that I'm trying to build, and that should be releasing the first 4 classes with it sometime in December. So follow me on all my social media if you want to know when that happens. But I have a class on harmony and theory, and it's going to be largely built from this playlist. And I started out this way. I started out with playlists on harmony. I have playlists on writing melodies. I have playlists on orchestration. I have playlists on all these things, all of them designed with this idea of having a class. Now, the problem is YouTube penalizes that. YouTube, the way the algorithm works, it does not like videos that are built in a sequence, right? It doesn't push them well. People aren't interested because no one sees a video that says part 5, and if they haven't watched the first part videos, no one's going to click on that. No one's interested in watching a part 5 of a series that they haven't even started. And so, by necessity, a lot of the videos on YouTube are designed to be standalone. And you can learn a lot of cool things. Like Ryan Leach has a bunch of wonderful videos on his channel, like things about string writing, things about ostinati, things about this and that. My channel has a lot of videos on this and that. But since the algorithm is not designed to create structure and comprehension, you have to go in there and make that yourself. You have to go in with a plan of what you want to learn and the things that you're lacking. I actually have a post on this on Instagram on how to do that. Here, I'm showing you guys all kinds of stuff. Let's see here. I follow a lot. I'm a former strength coach. Where is it? A bunch of stuff. It's around here somewhere. Working as a strength coach made me a better composer. And here I talk about the difference between exercise and training. Or the idea that exercise, you're just doing it for its own sake. If you are on YouTube and you're just looking up videos about film composing, cool, that's awesome, but that's exercise. Training has a specific performance goal in mind. So if you decide that you want to be a film composer, you need to take the time to figure out what kind of films do you want to do? What kind of music do you want to write? And then you need to assess your current abilities and say, why can't you do that? Maybe you don't know enough about the modern orchestra. Maybe you don't know enough about synths. Maybe you don't know enough about music structure or film scoring as a craft. What are you missing? What can you not do? And then you need to build a plan. How do you bridge that gap? How do you go from where you are now to where you need to be? And you need to have that kind of structure going into an education on YouTube because you need to know what you're looking for and how it builds on each other. This is a big kind of tangent I've gone on, so I'm just going to summarize it. I think the biggest issue with music education on YouTube is a lack of structure, a lack of continuity. If you go to music school and you take a class, you have like a 12-week class. Every single lesson builds on the previous ones. You start out learning the basics of the major scale. So then you learn the chords of the major scale and functional harmony and how that works. Then you learn how to go beyond the major scale and how the modes of the major scale work. Then you start building and building and building and building, learning all these skills that branch from each other. And that's the greatest advantage of a proper music education, is having that progressive education, this accumulation of knowledge that builds on itself. Whereas on YouTube, one day you might look at a video about melody writing. Cool, that's awesome. But the next day you find a cool video about strings, and that's awesome too. And the next day, who knows, maybe percussion. There's no continuity. You can pick up little things here and there. That's awesome. But you don't have a structure to help you combine all of it. And so that's what I think is missing from YouTube, is that structured approach. And unfortunately, the algorithm just doesn't reward it. I don't think it will. Not for a long time, if at all. Because again, no one wants to click on the part 5 video of a series they haven't started. I went way deeper on that than I expected, and I don't even know if any of it was helpful. Awesome. Patrick, hi there. Patrick Emmanuel from from India. Awesome. Thank you, Patrick. Welcome to the stream. Ed, YouTube seems to actively fight organized material and older stuff very much. And it's not necessarily that they're actively fighting it. It's just the way the algorithm works. So I'm going to tell you guys 3 things that you can do to help a video get pushed. All right, you can like it, you can comment, and you can share. All right, the reason why those are so powerful, especially share is the most powerful one you can do, is YouTube and a lot of social media platforms, all they care about is whether people are talking about things. They don't care if it's positive or negative. They just want people talking. They want engagement is what it's called. So if they see that people are engaged, if they see people are commenting, they see that people are sharing, all that kind of stuff, then they're going to push that in front of more people because they think this gets a reaction, let's push it. So organized material. Like I said, how many times have you seen a video on YouTube that says like part 5 or part 6 or part 3 even? You're like, oh, it looks cool, but I haven't seen the first 2 parts and I don't want to sit through and watch 3 videos. So maybe, if lucky, you'll add it to your watch later playlist, but we both know you're not going to actually watch it. People aren't interested in stuff where they feel like they have to catch up. All right? So it doesn't get rewarded. And older videos, again, if older videos are older and it's not getting traction, YouTube's not going to bother pushing that because it's been around for a long time and no one's talking about it. So why do they talk about it now? So that's a big one. That's almost at this point why I got excited when I get someone leaving a very rude comment on one of my videos. So I got one comment that I was very bummed got deleted. Because it was a comment where someone was just calling me a hack and laying into me on my video about counterpoint and talking about how the old composers would be rolling in their graves and disown me and hate me, and that I'm leading people astray, and that I'm a terrible human being for doing this. And I read this. There was like a 5-paragraph thing of someone just talking about how much they hate me, and I was excited because like, oh yeah, negative comment. People are going to respond to this. People respond to negative comments, and YouTube doesn't care if 2 people are fighting in the comment section. All YouTube sees is, whoa, 48 comments on this video in like 2 minutes or like an hour or so. And YouTube goes, wow, people are talking. Let's push this in front of a bunch of people. That's why you oftentimes see lots of videos on Instagram or TikTok or what have you. And their whole point is to get people angry at the person posting it, because angry people tend to comment. They leave lots of comments, and the algorithm loves that. So yeah, that's another tangent. I don't know why I went on a tangent about YouTube. Let's see, Patrick, do we need Trinity grade to know more, or can I learn notation on my own? Would it be better? I know music theory, but I recently attended an interview for music school, but they need a man who knows how to notate notes. Music notation is very useful. It's like, what do you need to learn how to read to like learn stuff? No, you don't need to learn how to read in this day and age. It's not necessary to survival, but it makes things so much easier. So if you can, I would recommend learning how to read music notation. My recommendation is musictheory.net. Musictheory.net. Follow theory lessons. They'll help you learn how to read music. All right? They're great, super easy to work with. I would recommend it. Is it necessary? No, but it opens so many doors for you. So hopefully that helps, Patrick. I'm sorry I wasn't able to get more detail. Mateo, I did the Berklee World Class Music, which lasts 12 weeks, and I highly recommend it. Awesome. So what is the Berklee World Class Music? Is that like their summer program or something? Berklee does have really good resources. They're expensive, but if you can afford it, go for it. If you don't have the money for the classes, I would recommend the Berklee Press. Berklee publishes a bunch of books that are amazing, very useful. Half the books on my shelf behind me that you can't see because I have a tiny shelf in this apartment rather than the big one I had in the previous city I was living in. But yeah, great resources. Berklee is amazing. My biggest gripe with them is they are so expensive. Figgity Funk. Interesting. So lack of incentive, at least on YouTube, is potentially preventing better education than people going to external sources and creating courses. Pretty much, yeah. There's no incentive. In fact, I found that doing longer playlists and structured classes on YouTube was actually kind of hurting my channel. Because if YouTube sees that routinely videos are not getting views, they're not going to push the YouTube channel. And so it's easier to find quick videos with catchy titles that people click on and watch. That's going to help the channel a lot farther, which is one of the reasons why, like I said, I'm putting together an online school that will have free tuition, or school, it's 4 classes, but I have big dreams. All right. I've got big dreams. I want to create, it would be years down the road, but I want to go from these 4 classes. My vision, my dream would be create a fully accredited institution online where people can get free college degrees, all right, basically, or free professional certificates or something. Because again, like I said, I never got to finish my music degree because I was going to be bankrupted by the cost of tuition here in the United States. Berkeley, like I said, I love Berkeley. I learned so much from them in my short time, but 10 grand a month just to afford tuition. Terrible, awful. I'm not going to go down that road because I will get very, very passionate, and I'm not feeling like that at the moment. So let's see here. Jack, there's a channel on YouTube called Pirate Software. He's a game developer who used to work for Blizzard Activision, who now runs his own studio. He's mentally behind keeping and deleting bad comments is a genius. His mentality behind keeping or deleting bad comments is genius. I believe it. I mean, there are people who have mastered the algorithm. I have policies in place. One of the first things I did when I made my channel was I created a policy for myself. Well, I think it was like 5 rules about how I will compose myself. Little pun there, how I will compose myself. No, basically how I'm going to behave, all right? And one of the rules is I do not allow myself to react to negative comments. I won't respond to trolls. I won't respond to people who calling me a hack. I won't respond to people who are angry about a comment I made in the video or something. I just don't respond to them, all right? I don't need that in my life. Unfortunately, if I were to respond, that would probably get me better performance on YouTube. Because if I get angry at someone and I'm responding to all the angry people and getting them to respond multiple times and start fights with me, my channel would probably take off. There are a couple YouTubers I follow and that was their model. They just engage all the angry people and their engagement scores on YouTube go through the roof. So YouTube starts pushing them left and right. But it's just not who I am as a person. I don't think I could deal with that mental health wise. So I don't worry about it. Let's see here. Patrick, is it a good idea to put songs on YouTube? Sure, go for it. But how to overcome huge amount of videos out there? How to use it wisely? Does it help me get noticed by people? Depends on what kind of people you want to notice. Is it going to get you jobs? Probably not. Directors don't hire people because they found them on YouTube. We're like, wow, this music's awesome. I mean, maybe some people find it that way, but the vast majority of directors you find because you either formed a relationship with them and you talked with them or you connected over it. But most of my work has come through word of mouth. I work with one person. They're like, oh, wow, he's great. I loved working with him. My strong suit is I am very much a story-first kind of person, and directors love that because they are also story-first people. And so I have a director who has a friends with their director friend, and they're like, I need to find a composer. So my friend is like, hey, check out Tabletop. He's awesome. So is putting your music on YouTube going to get you work? Probably not, but it is an important step. You want to be able to have a presence, all right? You want to be able to have somewhere where people can find where you are and find something about you. So yeah, I would say publish your music, do that. That's important. If for no other reason, then it gets you comfortable with the idea of sharing music and being out there. Figgity Funk, ever contemplated a Substack? I know programmers have cultivated audience via subscriptions on Substack. I have no idea what Substack is. No, I haven't really thought about hiring anyone out to help me grow my channel. I'm pretty happy with the way it is right now. I mean, sure, you could always make more money, right? But I'm pretty happy. My channel's growing pretty decently at the moment, and I like the organic way of it. I know that lots of people have done, there are companies that will have like bots that subscribe and build engagement. And I don't know. I won't say never, but just at the moment, I'm not really interested in that kind of growth. And Patrick, thank you for your values. Thank you. I appreciate it. And it looks like that's the end of the questions, guys. So I think we're going to call it a day here. So last couple things. If you would like to work with me, I do private lessons. I have space for about 3 more students on my schedule. I'm going to be very transparent about the prices. $90 an hour. You can buy 3 1-hour lessons for $250. With every private lesson, you get a 1-hour session, one-on-one, just like this, but on Discord or somewhere, how we just chat with each other, however it's easiest. We have 1 hour. I give you notes. I give you a recording of the meeting. It's always fun. And then, yeah, if you're not interested in private lessons, I've, of course, got over 250 videos on YouTube. I have Black Friday sale going on for my class, 20% off my class on emotions and music. The next cohort starts December 4th, so sign up quickly before it fills up, and then it closes for 6 weeks until the next one opens. You can also use code 20K exclamation point to celebrate my 20,000 subscribers that I'm super excited about. Thank you, people. You can use that to get 20% off any of the books, notes, etc. on my website and my bookshop. So it's a good time for sales at the moment. So check that out. And yeah, so Mateo, I did the online class, which was 1,200 euros in total. I hate so much that it is expensive. I would love to do so many courses from their site. Oh, you're talking about Substack. Yeah, I'll have to check it. Check it out. Yeah, a lot of classes, or no, maybe you're talking about Substack. I don't know. Awesome. Yeah, I'm not sure who Mateo, the online class, which is from. I hate so much that there's no. I would love to do so many courses from their site. Yeah, I'm not sure whose site you're talking about. But yeah, lots of classes are unfortunately very excited. My price is actually pretty reasonable. My class currently with the discount is $200 for a 6-week class. That's 6 private lessons like this, 6 live lessons, so substantially cheaper than my private lesson rate. It's 6 weeks worth of notes, videos, examples. You get access to a group chat with everybody else, and something comparable on a website like Master the Score would be closer to $500. On Evident, it'd be something like $400, and on Berkeley Online, their standard price is $1,500, American USD. So my prices are quite affordable, I think, compared to everybody else. But if you're not interested in the class, like I said, the book version of my class is currently 20% off. It is substantially cheaper. It's on my website. You can check that out too. And I have many blog posts, many videos where you can explore my models, explore my approach. And there is a free version of the class that you can sample and check out and learn a lot from too. Jack, private lessons are totally worth it. Do your homework. Yes, thank you, Jack. One of my students that I've worked with for a long time. I do love the private lessons, all right? It's really cool getting to know people one-on-one, being able to text them, learn a lot. So, yeah. Jack has made incredible strides with his style and his skill level. So, thank you, Jack. I appreciate it. And Mateo, do I stream on Twitch? No, unfortunately not at the moment. I have a Twitch account, I have a Kick account, but at the moment I just stream on YouTube. Mostly because I'm too lazy to figure out what the other two are, how to run the other two. But if there's a high enough demand, I'd do it. At the moment, though, everybody's already on YouTube, so I just stream on YouTube. Speaking of which, I have a new YouTube group kind of thing, channel members. I don't know what it is, but you can sign up to be a member of this channel. $5 a month to show your support. You get cool little stickers. Your comments get highlighted on my channel. It's cool. Check it out. Yeah, this is really fun, guys. I had a lot of fun in this stream. If you have questions, comments, ideas for future streams, let me know in the comments. But for now, I'm going to sign off. So have a great day, people. All right, I will see you in the next stream. Have a nice day.